Hey everyone. Oh, let me just lie down. So, I'm in Bali. It's my last night, and I've finally managed to actually just get some downtime between sleeping, eating, and activities. Activities being more eating. I'm actually at my villa in Seminyak, and I'm looking at the time, and my flight out is tomorrow morning. I'm going to be out of here by about 8 in the morning. It's sweltering, and I've done something I haven't done in about 8 days, and that's wear a t-shirt after 9 p.m. And the only reason I'm wearing a t-shirt is because I needed somewhere to clip the microphone, the dongle. When I'd left Melbourne, I had two episodes that I needed to complete editing, and I'd gotten one done just before I'd left. And the second one I had with the low-hanging fruit, I started it and I said, "No, there's no way I'm going to get this done." So I figured, stuff it, I'll leave that for a January surprise. But I promised myself that I would get one done purely for the fact of it'd be one more milestone that I could sort of tick. And when by milestone, I mean absolutely jack shit. It means nothing. But it's been cool because on this trip, it's genuinely been a relaxing holiday as opposed to my previous trips over the last 12 months where I was still working while I was away. Particularly in Greece, I was in visitation mode. Also, I'm a dickhead because I'm doing this podcast now. I'm doing this recording in Seminyak, and my villa is located right near the main road. So you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise. Hopefully not. I could have done it in Ubud, where you literally heard crickets and geckos farting on tiles. But before I lose my train of thought completely, this was genuinely a relaxing trip. From day one when I landed here, I landed at some point in the I think it was in the morning. I can't even remember. Morning, afternoon, I don't remember. But the first evening that I was here, I slept 12 hours straight, more or less. A common theme for the last 6 months has been I'm genuinely tired. And it's been a year of milestones and just, looking back, obviously when you hit 40, you sort of start measuring things up, and a lot of things have come up where I'm measuring things by date. And I'm looking back 10 years ago, where I was at 5 years ago, and a lot's changed. The one thing I've done in the last 5 years is completely ignore my health. No matter, I made a few feeble attempts, but to get it in order. But the one thing I've done is, pretty much just let it go to shit. I used to be able to run on 4 hours sleep, and just persevere and get through. I can't do that anymore. Obviously, I'm just getting old. And it's one thing to do it 5 days a week. It's another thing to do it 7 like I do. So. Yeah, especially the last month, like November and the start of December, I was a zombie. I was just going through the motions. So yeah, this was genuinely needed. So I've done nothing but really just sleep and eat and sleep. I've had 2 of the 3 phones completely switched off. I've turned them on at intervals, every 3rd or 4th day, just to suss out what clients want. And I've pretty much stayed off my main phone as well. I did a few things that I haven't done in a while, like read. Bought a few books with me, managed to burn through them, read a few things on my tablet. I should have gotten a lot more sleep. I should have gone for many more massages, but be that as it may, that's been good. Genuinely feel almost refreshed and revitalized and ready to get back to it. And I fly out tomorrow, so I'm guessing I'll probably end up doing this edit on the plane and release it when I land. But then again, I do have 2 hours at the airport before I fly out, so maybe I'll get it done then. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm going straight back into work basically. But I did say to myself, it's not a resolution as such, but I genuinely need to make a better attempt to get like my weight under control, get my stress under control, all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I just assume everyone does what I do, but the indicators say otherwise. It's funny. I ignored one of my rules about overseas travel and eating out, which is avoid dairy at all costs. Doesn't matter what country. Excessive dairy is generally, and avoid fish that isn't grilled, completely grilled, through and through. And a couple of nights ago, I ate, what did I have? Gnocchi with like a cream sauce, and I had like a fish dish, like a red snapper sort of thing. I can't remember what fish it was. It was red, but it was cooked pretty well. It wasn't burned into the ground, but there was a lot of garlic on it as well, and morning glory. So it messed with my stomach. I sort of had the cramp thing that I had in Morocco. And I dealt with it for a couple of days and eventually just went and got some drugs. Local quack just down the road. Found them on Google, WhatsApped them, gave them my symptoms. So I went in and I explained to him, like, look, I've had barley belly before. This isn't it. I've just got unpleasant cramps. So rather than sit here and just endure for the next 4 days or whatever it is, however long. I mean, when did I go? Was it yesterday or the day before? It could have been yesterday even. I don't know. And the funny part is the doctor was like, 20 years old. But he's like sitting there just signing away. And I've paid for my drugs and all that. And they're explaining to me, this is, your probiotics, this is your antibiotics, these are your, cramp relievers, these are your, what are they called? What's the word? Oh my God, I really do want to go up and get the sachet out of the bag. Electrolytes. There we go. I got there eventually. And while we're sitting there, his assistant was like, oh, let me just check your blood pressure. I'm like, you don't want to do that. And she started squeezing. And she's like, your blood pressure very high. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm Greek. I feel like just lighting a dart in there. But that's been the common theme. The problem is like my weight isn't really related to diet. It's mostly cortisol. You get that cortisol gut. My diet's generally pretty good. It's just lack of exercise and just stressing out, which sucks. But yeah, I've got to do something about it. Anyway, right before I left, there seemed like a whole lot of shit had popped off in the last couple of days before I'd gone. And I think we may have touched on them in the previous pod, or maybe I was planning on doing something. I was planning on doing a release before I left on my own, just before Christmas. But I'm pretty sure I had a list of crap. Let's have a look here. Ye old notes. Okay. So it's actually been pretty funny just seeing like the last days before I left. I'd done a few sort of regional runs for work, and it's amazing seeing every spectrum of Earth, every spectrum of the human psyche. I was driving back from the peninsula and I was just sitting on the Nepean Highway, and there were roadworks going on, and they weren't really apparent. Like whatever they were doing, I think they were just moving, earth movers and stuff. So they had to set up a long blockade, but there was at least 800 meters to over a K of Nepean Highway slowed down with two ends and the stop-go bat going, So they were just controlling the flow of traffic. And I didn't care. I was on my way back to Melbourne. So I'd done my day's run that I wanted to get out of the day for that point. But I remember just sitting there, and I've said it actively that I've tried to stop having, YouTube social media material just running in the background while I'm driving. And I've just took my mate's advice and just started playing music again, which has been really good. So I'm just sitting there, just chilling, head sort of already in the clouds, getting ready for holiday mode. I think it was about a week before I'd left. And I'm just waiting in traffic, and I've sort of glanced forward and not really seen much of what was going on, but I was like, whatever. And just sat there, had the window down. It was a nice day. And I'm just looking in front of me, and there's an old bloke who's probably, 70s, early 70s, I'd put it. Maybe, about early 70s. And he stuck his head out the window to have a gaze at like what was going on. And then he sort of opened his door and jumped out, sort of half stood up, and he's like arching his neck, trying to see what was going on up ahead. And then he just leant in on the horn. He's leant all in on the horn, just slamming down, and like started yelling under his breath, sort of like yeah, it eventually got back in the car, and I just laughed. Cause I'm like, mate, like I don't know where he was trying to get to. I don't know what was going on, but for some reason, I was cackling because just seeing the side of this old angry dude, just doing the what's going on up there because he can't actually see anything happening. Like he doesn't see a dude on a whacker or a Jenny or or a jackhammer or anything like that, or an excavator or a bobcat or whatever. He's just assumed they're doing nothing. So he's just leant in on the horn. And it's like, mate, I'm doing my best to retain anger. I'm doing my best to release anger as quick as I can and just not let little shit get me. And the one thing I sort of pat myself on the back about is, not letting things really weigh me down. I carry a lot of anxiety and stress, and everything hangs in the balance. Like I've said it 1,000 times over. Like my whole life is a house of cards. A house of cards completely. There's no security, but I sort of just take it in stride because I've chosen it to take all these things on. But by 70, man, like I don't want to be on the peninsula, 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something, and leaning in on a horn, about to give myself a stroke. I don't know, I can laugh about it now because, yeah, I'm doing the best I can. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why that stuck out for me. But then I saw the same thing, like here, like in Bali. Like I'm walking down the strip, I'm waiting for a cab to turn up, and just seeing the faces of some of these people in like the pubs and the bars, just miserable. Like they've got these faces of just pure, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just someone described me as this when I was in Vietnam in 2008. I remember it. This English dude described me as it, and it sort of took me back because I was like, do I really come off like that fucking grumpy and just angry? I can't remember what the word was. I remember I clung onto it because I'd never heard anyone use it to describe me. But yeah, and it's like, mate, you're holidaying in a third world country or a developing country anyway, where your dollar can buy anything, and you just look miserable sitting there having your pina colada. Like, smile. If you're in Melbourne and you look miserable, then so be it. But yeah, I don't know. I think I was just focusing on a lot of people over this trip. Maybe because I had my phone switched off and I was trying to soak it all up. One of my biggest issues is the fact that because I run on high every day, I don't actually stop to smell the roses anymore, if that makes sense. I appreciate everything I have, and I appreciate every experience I get to have and all that sort of thing, because I never thought I'd make it to where I am. But at the same time, I take a lot of things in stride, whereas 10 years ago, I'd be more, I'd sit back in awe at what I'm actually doing. It's hard to explain. It's that cortisol thing. And, being constantly stimulated with social media and getting that hit of like that endorphin hit every single time, your photo gets a like or something like that. And that's what everyone's doing. They're chasing the endorphins with social media and all that, and you're constantly stimulated. It isn't good. So I'm trying to take a step back from that. Like reading the books really helped because I did something, I used to do every day, like read. And I don't mean read on your phone and read Wikipedia articles that mean nothing or go nowhere, or, where you're constantly just scrolling, because that's really what you're doing. You're scrolling. That's the last thing I want to be doing. But it felt good. One of the books I brought was actually a bootleg book that I got on my 24th birthday in Vietnam. And by bootleg, I mean it's an Irvin Welsh book. So it's one that, by one of my favorite author. And the book's a bootleg. So it's like photocopies and badly printed. It's really cool. I'm actually glad I have it. Maybe one day I'll buy the legit copy just to fill out the collection. But I'm actually really glad I have it. And I always dog ear the pages in my books. I prefer paperbacks over hard copies, and I prefer dog ears over pristine. It's not like I'm chasing first editions or anything like that or anything. grand for the bookshelf. I like the feel of a well-worn book. And there was a page already turned over in it. I'm thinking, shit, when did I last touch this book? I only read it once or twice, and I've had it since 2008. So it's nice. Hopefully, I'll probably finish it off when I'm sitting at the airport if I'm not editing this. But yeah, one thing I have noticed, being more aware of people around me, are all the wankers that think they're the main character, and especially when coming to like a developing sort of island like Bali. You know, it's a province. It's not a country. It started even in Melbourne. I was sitting at the airport at like 6. What time was it? It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. No, hang on. I flew out at 7. I was there by 4:30, and it was the most seamless boarding process ever. I did everything online, checked in online, dropped my bag on, like, at the check-in by myself, sat down, went through immigration, flawless. Even when I got to Bali, I'd already bought my visa the day before, went through the digital like entrance or whatever it is, the e visas. It was seamless. It was brilliant. But yeah, it was about 4 or 5 in the morning. I was sitting there at the Jetstar terminal in Melbourne, and some dickhead walked in, and he had his phone out, and he was holding it out, filming everything in front of him and around him. And I just looked at him and glared. It's like, dude, no one's watching your story. No one thinks you're doing anything worthwhile. Just stop. I could punch the shit out of some of these people. Seriously, this main character syndrome has got to stop in 2026. I'm fucking over it. I'm telling you. So over it. Now I went and got a massage about an hour ago. And I'm just lying there, and it's embarrassing. Like, the people that come in, the Bogans, the loud Bogans, have no regard for anyone else. Like, it's their own pissing pot. They get offended when you tell them to just keep it down because, the locals are too humble and sort of meek to, ruffle feathers. You just want to get up and kick these people in the throat on behalf of the Balinese. Seriously. Jesus Christ. I was lying there mid-massage, and I just heard, I couldn't pick the accent. I couldn't pick the language. But some couple walked in with their kid, and you could just hear him like coming up the stairs. And then I heard the woman's voice say, "Turn the air conditioning off. It's too cold." What are you talking about? It's like 35 degrees outside. We're sweating. It's too cold. And they were yelling, and it's like all dark. There's a general decorum that you follow in massage joints. You keep your mouth shut. Have your phone on silent. Idiots sitting there getting their feet massaged, phones blaring, watching YouTube content. Like, what is wrong with you? And then while I'm lying there, the masseuses, I could hear the masseuses ask the couple, because their kids stormed into the room as well. There are a couple slots down from me. It's like, "Oh, are you ready?" "No, we're not." It's like, what do you mean, man? Just take your clothes off and lie down. You made such a fuss about where your room was and turn the aircon down and shit like you own the joint. There's no, we're not ready. Okay. So and then I heard the masseuse returns, like, "Are you ready now?" "Yes." "Okay." And then I couldn't quite grasp it initially, but all I could hear was, why you not change? And she said, "We went swimming." And the woman said again, like, "Why didn't you change?" "I didn't." So then I realized this woman's still wearing clothes, and then her husband says something about being at the beach. So they've gone to get a massage straight out of the beach, and she's dripping wet. So she's gone into an establishment soaking wet. I leave my thongs at the door, like when I walk in to these masseuse joints, yeah? She's walked in, dripping wet, in a bathing suit, and then that's why she complained it was freezing, because she's soaked. It's like, what is wrong with you idiots? These people do not deserve visas. Seriously, that should be grounds for visa cancellation. Like, bang, get out. Gestapo just comes with the van, throws you in the back, extradited straight away to Brunei or something. I'm really curious as to how much of the background sound this mic picks up. I know I did record in Athens, and that was Athens, man. That was like and that was central Athens, like Gendro Athens, which is pretty cool. The fact that I've done 2 recordings. I'm spewing I didn't do a recording from Vietnam or Laos, or did I? I don't think I did. I definitely did 2 in Greece. And I've done 1 in Bali now, which is pretty cool. That's a nice way to finish off the year. A few things, yeah, there were a few topics of sorts. I don't really have any more stories to impart. But there were a few things that had popped off before I'd left, or while I've been away. The first thing was the shooting in Bondi. And that happened during the recording of the last episode with the low-hanging fruit. At some point, all 3 of us got messages saying, seeing what's happened in Sydney, blah, 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 blah. And we sort of both all stopped and just sort of looked at our phones and tried to see if we could find anything. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it in the recording when I do the edit. I mean, I've already sort of acknowledged it on here as a timestamp, and that's really what I get out of these pods, just looking back. But yeah, the response to the shooting, I mean, senseless, absolutely senseless. But for me, it's been not the knee-jerk reaction by the government wanting to limit firearms immediately. I mean, that's a case to be discussed. But it was the response on social media, which is another reason why I had to take a step back when I got here. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. Keep doing this. The amount of ignorant Americans out there that were just commenting immediately, saying that's what happens when your government takes away guns. People with guns could have sorted this out. It's like, the government did not take away our guns. The government took away fully automatic and most semi-automatic weapons, military-grade weapons. The weapons these people were legally owned. Like, the amount of arguments. I got on this whole thing, and I just said, what am I doing? Arguing with idiots on the internet. Do I not have enough in my life? It's just, you people are fucking morons. And then you wonder, like, these people live in a world superpower. They are the world police. They vote. Ugh, God. And then the Trump redactions, Jesus. Those Epstein redactions just took the piss. Absolutely took the piss. You got pages and pages of redacted info. Because we want to protect the victim. And these morons didn't have the foresight to actually black it out properly, where drag and drop into Word revealed the text anyway. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And then again, like, I tried to stay away from it, but I sort of crawled back into that space over the last couple of days. And it's amazing how one of the strategies now moving forward is, they're pulling out all the old shit because it seems like the MAGA movement's stalled and people have started to pay attention and realize what a piss take it is. And, the cover-up is actually real. But that Billy Bush grab him by the pussy video started surfacing again. And you look back at it and it's like, Jesus, there were 2 people in this video, the voices that were prominent, Trump's and Billy Bush, the host of a TV show. And Billy Bush got cancelled, sacked, lost all credibility, went into some sort of mental health spa, to try and get his shit together. Trump went and became president. Trump was the one that said all the based shit, yet he had to run it at the highest position of office anyone can hold, basically. And Billy Bush went into rehab, and now Trump's back in power again. It's amazing. These fucking idiots voted him in. I don't know. I don't want to get stuck on that. I guess there's not really much more to say. I sort of felt like I had a lot more to say. Just looking back at the year, it's like it's been huge. And, here we go. Some more bugs. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just sitting here like poolside basically, and there's no way known if I ever need like a 5-day break or something. There's no way known I'm going anywhere but like Bali. On a financial sort of scale, people ask me, why wouldn't you just go locally? Well, I'll tell you why. Because a villa in Seminyak, a massive villa with a huge bedroom, bathroom, bathtub, shower, pool, and living out quarters with, your custom breakfast every morning is going to cost you less than $180 a night. And the flight here is on par. I've got a mate that just booked 4 tickets for March for himself, his wife, and his 2 kids, and it's costing him just over $2,000. You can't beat it. Not to mention the fact that, you're going out and you're buying a pack of cigarettes for $2.50. You're getting cocktails for $10 or whatever it is, as opposed to the 80 that they want in Melbourne. Like the first day when I got here, I bought a bag of just basic goodies to fill the fridge with. And it was like, couple beers, couple cans of Cokes and packets of chips, 2 packs of smokes, and I don't know what else there was. And I'm looking at the bag, and the bag was about $40-something. Oh, and a bottle of, was it rum? I think it was rum, like a tall bottle of rum. And I was just looking at it, I'm like, Jesus, this is less than $50 Aussie. The packet of cigarettes would have been $50 Aussie. At the same time, if I get a massage or, some sort of service like that, or a driver or whatever, like a massage, you're going to pay about 180,000 rupiah, which works out to like $24 or something, $22. Like, fuck all. I'll always tip like basically almost the same amount, because it's a human. At the end of the day, it's a human providing a human service. Just because their wages are poor doesn't mean I'm here to exploit it. I'll give whatever I can within reason. Because, I don't want to be working for $3 an hour. But, some of these people are. And that sucks. And that's why it really shits me when classless Bogans come in like they acted like they own the joint. Whereas back in Melbourne or wherever the hell they've flown in from, they probably haven't got 2 sticks to scratch together to start a fire. But they get all, bourgeois as soon as they hit the third world or the developing world. It's like these people aren't servants, man. I don't know. I'm getting a bit too negative. Anyway, what else did I have? I had a whole bunch of crap. Okay. So, here's one. Did I actually let me see if I screenshot this just as a reference point. I hope I did, because something set me off about it. Like 100% something set me off about it. Here we go. I found it. I don't remember how this popped up, but okay, so on the socials, it was probably a week before I left. I'm pretty sure it was before I left, because all the screenshots were laid after this earlier events. I'm just sitting there, just on socials, and something came up. Maybe it was a promoted post or something, but it comes up, and the account's called Aussie Vangirl, and so the profile states, solo Aussie girl, my bohemian life, living off grid in SA, so South Australia, not sexual assault, and doing up my coaster bus, Aussie Vangirl adventures, minivan girl, etc., etc. And it was something about she was showing off her lifestyle. There was like a photo of a forest and her being free and all bohemian and all that sort of shit. And then, of course, you had the beacons.ai link. And then this is the link you're looking for. OnlyFans. It's like, mate, it just got me. I'm like, for fuck's sakes. Like, when is this going to end? When is the grift going to end? When is all this just going to stop? Why are men paying dividends to whores online, like entrepreneurs that are living, it's just, it doesn't make sense how it's become this. I know I'm going over this shit again. I'm retreading old ground, but it's frustrating to know you got wankers that call themselves living bohemian lifestyles. There were no beatniks living bohemian lifestyles that were also digital sex workers. Like that does not, mate, you are meshing too many worlds there. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck off, bohemian lifestyle. You're literally selling photos of your asshole on the internet. And the fact that men are out there throwing money at this shit and letting it happen is just, it's infuriating. Ugh, God. One thing I need to acknowledge is everyone that's been a part of the pod this year. I know I did go a bit quiet at some points, but I will try and make an effort to get back into it a bit more. It's just been harder to tee up guests, really, because I've just been too busy. I know I say it every time, but yeah, this year I had a lot of faces on that were faces from the past, people I've known for a long time, and just getting a bit of their stories, that I normally wouldn't have gotten, which has been cool. Off the top of my head, I can't name everyone, but I did have old mate Fabian in at the start of the year. He talked about his breathwork classes and things like that. And I actually did recommend his services to a few friends who actually went along as well on sessions without me, obviously, and they were really pleased with his stuff as well. So everyone get on it. I had Edna in as a late scratch. I think it was the start of December, end of November. I can't remember. Maybe it was the start of December. I don't remember. I think it was the start of December. Tell us about being a school teacher in Melbourne and everything that she's gone through. And that was, that was funny. A lot of insight there. Low hanging fruit doing their thing as always. The midweek rub coming through with a few more episodes. So with Andrew, Con, and the Senator. Jesus. Who else had come through? I can't remember. I know there's a backlog of people as well, but it's just been hard. Tez and Stevo came in for the close after Kerno and TDK and Sauce made tracks, and that was fun. Smoking that cigar with them was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to do that. I actually have a cigar. I brought a cigar from Melbourne, which I smoked when I got on my first, I think it was my first day in Bali, actually, when I sat at my swimming pool. Like that's been good. Like I said, this trip was really, really needed, and it was refreshing. And I really need to get these cortisol levels down just to start appreciating these little things. And not appreciating, just taking stock of all of it, because I can't keep running on fumes like this. But there's still a few more walls to push over before I get to exactly where I want to be. And I guess that's the way it is. If you don't move, you lose. And that's, I guess, how it goes. I want to say thank you to everyone that's supported us throughout the year. A lot of new listeners jumping on board. I say it every time. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, share us, to share a post, make a comment, pop a comment, on the Instagram posts or the YouTube posts, wherever it is you listen to this pod. It helps us in the algorithm, helps us, get a bit of exposure. I really need to do more in order to push it, but that's just, I'm tapped out right now, but I'll figure it out. When things get quiet, but then, see, that's the thing. I signed up to a new gym, and I really want to give it a square go. I'm at least 20 kilos off my ideal weight, and there's no reason for me not to be able to hit it, because, quite frankly, I want to do everything I can to scale back work. And for me to, if I'm willing to scale back work and try and get more downtime, then I can fit 45 minutes of exercise in a day. No excuse. 10 years ago, I didn't have an excuse. Obviously, 10 years ago, I worked a lot less. I look at it now, and I was working maybe 32 to 36 hours tops 10 years ago. Now I'm working 7 days a week, 10, 15 hours a day sometimes, and it's like the maths isn't mathing. Like, you can't do everything. But, it is what it is. Next year will be going into the 10th year of doing this pod. It'll be the 10th season in May when we start up again, and I've got to figure out if we're going to keep doing this or not. I mean, production costs wise, time wise, production cost wise, it's costing me about $6,000 a year minimum to keep this running, not including my time, not including time spent doing episodes, editing, stocking the fridge. I think 10 years has been a good run. obviously, I feel like we should have a lot more exposure than what we do have. I feel a lot. I mean, forget my stupid rants about donuts and Bogans, but yeah, a lot of the guests that I've had on deserve to be heard. A lot of them bring a message which needs to get out, and it sort of sickens me every time I see more idiots getting blown up, more 6-7 bullshit, more fucking influencers who don't have anything to influence, haven't lived a life of shit other than, showing their fucking assholes on some game show and getting fucking their face jabbed with bullshit. It really hurts, man. Like, it really hurts watching these clowns get turned into celebrities overnight over absolutely with no merit whatsoever. So I've got to figure it out. Do I do another 10 years? I mean, running costs for this pod have effectively been the same for the last, since 2019, really, is when I got my own studio. So you do the maths, $6,000 a year for, 6 years. I could have bought a house in Greece with that money. Seriously, it's not peanuts, So I've got to figure it out. If anyone has any ideas of how I can get a bit of value out of this other than start an OnlyFans page myself, which I may or may not consider, assuming someone's out there to help me run it. We're already there, outsourcing OnlyFans pages to keep a podcast running that has 40 listeners. That's awesome. That's where life's at. Anyway, I really don't remember what else I had to say, but yeah, it is what it is. I'll do this edit in the morning. I don't even know how it's going to sound. But again, thank you for all your support. Please drop a comment, in any of the mediums that you follow us on. Send in your hate mail, send in your love notes, send all of it in. Oh, yeah, Jimmy. I need to thank Jimmy. I know I did an episode or two with him. We definitely did a stakeout or two. And we definitely had a few more stakeouts lined up. It just got a bit hard. But yeah, hopefully more stakeouts. So yeah, this year has been a bit of a turning point, especially with the pod. Establishing low-hanging fruit a bit further, the midweek rub, the stakeout. We do the annual Carlton thing as well. Like, it's nice. It's cool. We build a nice little community. It's cool. And it always makes me smile when people that are completely unaffiliated to all these other people will message me or, drop me a comment or something about an episode and an experience or, something that they picked up. But yeah, if there's anyone you want me to approach, anyone you think I should have on, please let me know. Tell them to flick me a line, give me details, all that sort of stuff. I've done it in the past. I don't know why I don't push for more of it now. Have a safe new year, whatever you're doing. And I will have there we go. See, the traffic's banking up. That's music to my ears. I love it. Mate, Ubud, I swear to God, it was so quiet. You could seriously hear mosquitoes sneezing in rice fields 200 meters away. And here the Bogans have congregated. It's so crazy how different, people can write off Southeast Asian countries as being all the same, from the outside looking in. But it's amazing how different Bali is as well. Like, even, culturally and just how they move and operate. Especially with the influx of Aussies here. I guess the one peeve I've had since I was here, and I should have known better, is the sappy Christmas music everywhere. The massage joints all had the First Noel playing, or Last Christmas piano acoustic version, and Jingle Bells. So you're trying to get a massage, and you've got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer piano version just playing in the background. They got everyone's. It was interesting. So the drive from Woodward to Seminyak, the driver was a real chatty dude, and he was talking about. I was passing like a sort of temple, and I said, "Is this a temple? It's a Hindu temple, right?" It's like, "Yeah. It's a Hindu temple with a school attached to it, blah blah blah." I'm talking about security measures and stuff like that. which they never had to deal with before in the past. And he said something like, as far as he's concerned, every major religion, all follows a doctrine, their own doctrine and all that sort of thing, but they all ultimately worship, one creator, one sort of God, blah, 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 So everyone needs to just sort of get along and put their differences aside. And I said, it's gangs, man. They're all gangs. You got how many tens of thousands of Christian? Ooh, there's a gecko. Wow. Got one on radio. Okay, there's so many tens of thousands of Christian denominations alone, all repping a different set. These are gangs fighting for your loyalty, man. And you get jumped in and booted out if you don't rep the set. I don't know. It made me laugh, especially over Christmas. I got a good laugh out of him though. Poor guy. He needed my religious crap. I don't know. For me, look, religion is another conversation I've had many times over, but I'm not going to go into that. I don't get too depressed right now. I've only got a couple of hours before I go to bed, so I think I might just jump in the pool, smoke one of my last cigars, and I think I've got a bit of booze left in the fridge. Maybe I'll just clean that out. Anyway, thanks again for your support in 2025. I hope to see you in 2026. Tell your friends. And, smoke crack.
Hold up.